Before we get started with the press conference, we had some losses to our Husker family last week. I just want to acknowledge Ron Light was a lifetime Husker fan and attending the game. His son Jason is the general manager for the Buccaneers. His daughter Patty is a school teacher in town. Our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. Christian Gaylord, one of the best teammates on our team, lost his father this past week. Our players did a good job supporting him, and then Jordan Pop lost his grandfather and his niece last week. So just want to acknowledge that and let everyone know that the team's doing everything we can. Our thoughts or prayers with all those people. So, questions?
Are turnovers contagious? In other words, does one make another and another more likely, or are they just all their own isolated incidents?
No, I don't think turnovers are contagious. Our guys need to be very aware of taking care of the ball. The turnovers last week, a lot of credit goes to them. I think that's a really good team, and they created a couple, and we had one that was a bad break, but we didn't put any on the ground, and I just want our guys being really conscientious about taking care of the football.
Scott, have you been around a series that's been as tightly contested as Nebraska Northwestern over the years?
Yeah, well, I've only been part of one of them, but I'm a student of what's happened around here and seen all the close games that have happened between Northwestern and Nebraska, including last year, Hail Marys and overtime games. And, they're just such a well-coached team year in and year out. They're disciplined, they're smart, they're not going to beat themselves. And those type of teams end up in a lot of close games. So if we're in one, we need our guys to respond well.
What can you learn about your team on a week like this, just after a performance like Saturday, how they come back and respond this week?
We had a great practice this morning. The guys are excited. Everything they want to accomplish is still right in front of them. I told my guys to put that one behind us fast. We need to be focused on this week and concentrate on practicing as well as we can to get ready for this game.
Scott, you're playing some teams in your division the next couple of weeks. Just how important are and critical is it right now to win?
It's always critical to win, but we got to keep improving. This game is the most important. Once we finish this one, the next one will be most important. This is the time of year where you start to get a little tired and beat up, and every team in the country is that way. We're no exception. We got 2 weeks here before we get to a bye week and get recovered a little bit. But we need to practice this week like it's our first game, last game, most important game. Then we'll flip the script and do the same thing the next week, and then we'll get a chance to rest the guys a little bit.
Darian Chase involved in a couple games. Were there any other of the young guys in that wide receiver room getting close to being able to help you today?
I hope so. Darian needs to keep getting his chances. I think the more chances he gets, the more plays he'll make outside. I think we might give Jerron Woodyard a little more of a look this week. We need some more guys playing out there, and we're just going to have to force feed them and bring them along.
What's your assessment of where your offensive line is at? What you want to see, moving forward?
Looking back on the tape, I thought in the run game we fought and did a pretty good job, opened up some holes against a good front. We didn't protect very well Saturday. We need to keep improving on those things. We need to keep getting a little more movement in the run game and give Adrian a little more time so he feels comfortable in the pocket. At times we've looked really good. At other times it hasn't been up to our standards. So just a matter of going back to work and continuing to improve.
Is there anything that he can do if he's not getting if he's not getting time to throw? Any adjustment he can make?
One thing we talked about today and are going to talk about all week is making sure that Adrian's dealing with things that he's expecting and not a bunch of uncertainties. And that means receivers being in the exact right spots and protection being a little better, snaps being better. We're putting an awful lot on him anyway, but when he's worried about where the snap is, worried about who's coming unblocked, worried about if his receiver's going to be in the right place, that's too much to put on a quarterback. So we'll continue to dial all those things in. I think as some of our young players on offense get some more reps and some more experience, that'll continue to get better.
How's Adrian playing right now in your eyes?
He's doing well. he played tough Saturday. He got us some yards when there wasn't anything there. He was dealing with a lot of pass rush with very little time to make decisions, and they have a really good team. They're number one on my ballot, and the season will play out, but where it sits right now, that's as good a team as I've seen, and he was dealing with a lot of that. I thought he did pretty well under the circumstances.
Defensively, what kind of challenges is Northwestern going to present this weekend?
Northwestern got a really good defense. They always will, I think, as long as that coaching staff's there. They're physical. They don't allow you to run through the tackles very easily. Their DBs play off and don't give up anything big, and they do a good job rallying to the football. So they make you earn whatever you get. They've been running basically the same scheme for a long time and been successful with it. So we're of the mindset that we got to go try to earn whatever yards we get.
Scott, what is it about your personnel that led you to go to that Flexbone in the, I guess it was late in the first quarter?
Flexbone, huh? Nothing. We have some personnel that I think can run it. You can't run that stuff unless you've been working on it. We've been working on it for a long time. Some of the things we were running fit the defense that they gave us, and I thought the guys went out and executed that well. You know, we had a whole drive that we put together with that stuff, and they called timeout. Then we had an unlucky play on a pass play. I think we'll see more of that stuff going forward. I want that to be a piece of what we're doing. I think it's part of what Nebraska's been built on and the fabric of what we are that we need to get back to a little bit, and I think we got the right personnel to do it. So we'll pick our spots, but it certainly looked pretty good for the first time out.
Was there a reason why you kept it, or was it just ready finally to actually run out?
It all has to do with the defensive scheme that we're going up against and how close I thought we were to being able to execute it.
How do you manage just Maurice Washington's body's durability going forward? You know, you've got a couple physical defenses coming up. It seems like he's been slowed a little bit the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, Maurice is a factor when he's on the field. We got to try to keep him on the field. You know, he's been nicked up a little bit a couple times. You know, he's headed in a good direction. We just need him to be reliable and be there for all four quarters in our toughest games. And if he is, we're going to be a better football team.
What should we call that formation?
Well, I guess I would call it an I formation, but maybe I'm not an expert.
Hey, Scott, what kind of conversations, how much time during a game when you're in your role do you have to converse with Adrian or a quarterback when they're going through struggles like he was in the first half, or do you leave that mainly to Mario?
Again, I don't want to phrase it that Adrian was going through struggles. If you look at the tape, he got flushed a bunch, was trying to make things happen. Mario talks to him. I went over and talked to him 2 or 3 times. He doesn't get rattled, so that's not an issue. We just need to communicate with him what we're going to do to adjust and fix things. But I'm not going to, for a second, paint it as Adrian's struggles. You know, we win and lose as a team. We make great plays and bad plays as a team. And Sip, just to clarify a little, we were an I formation some, and I would call the other one a double wing set.
Yeah, I don't know why I call it
Adrian was saying you kind of showed him how to run some of those option plays. Does that give you flashbacks when you do that in practice?
Flashbacks, I don't know. I've never grown so old as I don't remember it and think about it. It's just there's a timing to it. There's a feel that you have to get for it. Sometimes seeing it is good on tape. Sometimes seeing it in person is good. So if he can watch somebody that runs a 5.1 40 do it and get anything from it, then I'll keep showing it.
How big is this stretch with Northwestern, Minnesota, then a bye, just to kind of recapture the momentum of the season for you guys?
Again, painting with broad strokes, recapture momentum, that can happen tomorrow in practice so that we play well Saturday. We're focused on this one game. If you want me to look at the whole layout of the season, I think it's good. We're not a team with a ton of depth right now, so I think it's good that this is a year where the schedule falls that we have 2 bye weeks. We got 2 more weeks. We're going to sell out, do everything we can. We're going to get to a bye week, then we got 2 more, then we got another bye week. I think that'll give us a chance to lick our wounds, heal up a little bit physically, and recuperate a little bit mentally too, and it breaks up the rest of the season pretty well for us.
The Saturday's game against Northwestern will be broadcasted in Spanish as well. Why is it important for Husker football to be brought to the Spanish-speaking Nebraskans?
I think that's awesome. I took 3 years of Spanish in high school. Liz Hodwalker was my Spanish teacher in Wood River. My favorite class probably in high school. If you don't use it, you lose it, so I don't remember as much as I should now. But I know there's a lot of residents in Nebraska that speak language as a first, or Spanish as a first language, and you know, Nebraska's one team, one heartbeat, one state, one heartbeat. I think it's great that we're going to broadcast the game so that every Nebraska fan can enjoy it.
Scott, with the facilities announcement on Friday, what in particular, what do you want to get out of that building project, and what's important to you about that building as it comes together?
Yeah, I kind of tried to say it in my press conference. I think one of the things that made Nebraska was giving the student athletes the best of the best and giving them every opportunity to develop into the best people that they can become. When I was here, we had the best nutrition, the best strength and conditioning, the best weight room, the best academic support with Dennis, who's still here, the best life skills to help you get a job after college. You really felt like when you're a student athlete here that there was dozens and hundreds of people on campus that had your best interest at heart, and we're going to do everything to help you be the best you can be. Be honest, we've fallen behind a few people in a couple of those areas. It's great to see the state of Nebraska and some of the people that are going to contribute to this that we're grateful to decide that we want to get back to a point that we're giving our student athletes the best of the best, and I think that's going to help us compete at a really high level.
Scott, have you had a chance to look at all at that California decision on image and likeness today, and any thoughts on how that might impact the competitive nature of the sport going forward?
Yeah, that's awfully political, and I won't want to get into it too much. I just hope at the end of the day that college football and college athletics survive in a way that allows opportunities for all students that want to compete. I think there's obviously some points that could be made for athletes being compensated for all the work they put in. Hope it doesn't destroy opportunities and competitive balance and other things that make our sports fun to watch and what they are. It's a slippery slope, and I hope there's smart people that can navigate it so it ends up in a good place.
Do you favor local, state, federal government intervening in the issue?
Again, that's awfully political. Yeah, I just think one thing you have to be smart about is if you start paying players, there's only so much money to go around, and people see a new facility we're building and other things that schools have and think there must be money, and there is. But once you start paying a football player, you have to pay every student athlete, and that's an awfully big drain on a budget, depending on how much is paid. I'm not sure there's a lot of places that can afford that kind of commitment, and I think it really puts the fabric of where college athletics are right now in a precarious position. So, like I said, I'm not smart enough to figure all those things out, but I hope there's some smart people to help navigate through this.
Back to the facilities, what were you able to tell the recruits about it on Saturday, and what kind of reaction did you guys get just being able to show that to the recruits for the first time?
Well, it's still kind of in infancy stage right now. There's no designs or anything done. I think that's going to be done down the road. One of the things I'm excited about is getting all of our student athletes a little bit closer to campus, closer to their professors, closer to all the talented people on our campus. Having a academic center that's going to be steps away from the business building, steps away from the rest of their classes on campus, I think is going to be a big advantage for us and just improve the day-to-day life of all of our student athletes. They're not going to have to walk all the way around to the bottom of East Stadium anymore and then walk all the way back across campus to Love Library. It's going to make their lives a lot easier. It's going to allow them to spend more time with us and with Dennis and academics. So I think there's a lot of things that are going to benefit a lot of our student athletes. We're not done with the design yet. I think that'll happen going forward, but there's some really good ideas, and I think the general theory of what they're going to try to accomplish with this is going to help us a lot.
It sounded like Zach Duvall and Dave Ellis and a lot of people are going to have opinions. And how big a deal is that to get feedback from all those different, angles as you build this thing?
Yeah, obviously the designers and architects are going to have the most say in it, but Dave Ellis is an example. He's gone all across the country helping other people set up their nutrition centers and their kitchens to fuel athletes. So we have some of the foremost experts in those areas right here on campus. We'll lean hard on them. I'm excited about it. And obviously we're focusing on football right now, but there's going to be some fun things going forward.
You've been a quarterback, so you've obviously gotten a lot of praise and criticism when you were here at Nebraska. Adrian's going through that now. Are you surprised at maybe some of the things that you've heard either from us or from fans about Adrian's play, and how important do you think it is just as a fellow quarterback to be able to defend him when you know he needs to be defended?
I can't believe he needs to be defended. If you know football and watch that game, there's a lot of things that needed to be fixed. It's just the nature of the game that the head coach and quarterback can get all the praise and get all the blame, and I think he knows that. But he fought and made some really good plays for us Saturday. He's going to make some incredible plays for us going forward, and that's just the ups and downs of the game. Adrian's going to be just fine.
He seems to take it pretty hard. Do you have to coach him to say some of the things that you might think were your fault were?
No, I think he's smart enough to know that. I think if you're a competitor, the first place you look when things don't go well is at yourself. We do it as coaches too. What one play could we have called different? One thing could we have done different? If you're a competitor, you don't point fingers, you point thumb and at yourself, and that's the first place you look to try to improve. And I'm sure he's doing the same thing, but he's played well all year. He'll continue to play better. He's a great kid and a great player.
Scott, this isn't asked just because of the Ohio State game, but as you look back from December of 2017 when you took the job here to where you're at right now, is this a harder job than you thought it would be?
Harder job? No. I knew a lot of the challenges coming in here. I've been watching Nebraska for a long time, and it was a long way away from where it needed to be and where it should have been. Those changes can't happen overnight. There's a lot of ways to look at things. Going into that game, we'd won 7 of our last 10 games, I think, and 2 of those losses after last night, 7-11 now we're to Ohio State. That's a really good team we played. Things are coming. You're never satisfied with where they are. You always want it to go faster, but I don't think anybody in our building doubts that things are coming. And it's going to make it even sweeter when you get there, when you go through these things. So I wouldn't say it's harder than I thought. We knew it was going to be a big challenge, and it has been, but I'm pleased with the progress we made and excited to make more.
So in your eyes, is it on schedule?
I don't have a schedule. My schedules get better, and we are. We're a lot better than we were week 1. We're a lot better than we were last year at this time. But we're going to have to play well to win Saturday. Northwestern's a good team. We're going to have to play well the next week. So we got to keep improving. And our kids have to understand that that's the goal every day.
All good? All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, this is Jason Jorgensen, Sports Director at KRVN. Thanks for watching our YouTube video. To keep up to date with everything we have going on with our sports coverage, you can find that, and we'd love to have you subscribe to our channel. Just hit the little red button in the right corner.